Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 420 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined, as always, by my mainest man in Easton, Pennsylvania, the pride of the Red Rovers, Red Rover Nation. Send Willie Sailor on over. Willie, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Actually, I'm not doing wonderful. I'm tired. I'm beat. I'm hurting.
From what?
I'm sore.
Sore?
Yeah.
Were you doing Pilates again?
No, I went for a run last night, and I may have run like 125 yards, and my calf muscles. I felt my calf muscles go like this, like just cinch up.
Why do you?
And
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Get out of here. It's because
You know we record the show. We record it every single time. So we just go back. Court reporter.
I can run a half marathon.
No, you just your calves seized up 125 yards.
It's because keto.
Because keto.
It's because keto.
It would have
I'm
nothing
serious.
to do with the fact that it's been maybe a calendar year since you last ran.
I thought keto's supposed to make you stronger.
I ran a couple times last week. It's because it's
Yeah.
Yeah, how is this keto's fault? I don't
because
No potassium.
because that's exactly right.
Yeah. You can't
Because
toss a
of
banana
electrolytes.
in there? You can't have a banana?
Because of electrolytes. No, I guess I've taken potassium and magnesium pills, tablets, but I guess I don't take
This
enough.
makes no sense because Kazakhstan is a huge exporter of potassium, and you didn't get the hookup when you were there? What did we send you there for if not to get some preventative medicine so you could run?
I don't know. Anyway,
That was our primary diplomatic task.
Yeah.
my left calf is hard as a rock right now. Still, currently.
Okay. Well,
Coffee should do the trick.
coffee will definitely help the calf situation.
Try
Okay.
punching it. It's really hard.
In
Try
football, they would give you mustard. I don't know if you want to give that a try. It sounds delicious. Just drinking
Vinegar.
Vinegar. To my left, you may know him as the wrestling nomad. He's just Daniel Roy to me. Daniel Roy Lobdell Jr. Daniel, how are you?
I'm well. I am.
Schwab Mob shirt. I love it.
Yep. Panther Train.
I have a purple one. I like the black one.
Yeah, I mean, I have a variety of them from when we were there for Final
Wow.
X.
What a flex.
Yeah.
That's nice. Straight away with the Eagle of Freedom and the Bronco of, we'll just call it the Bronco of Bravery. How about that? They're brave. I honestly, they were the hottest team. Now I think they're by far the bravest team in the NFL.
Prove me wrong.
Yeah, spot the lie. I think they're the bravest team, led by the bravest of us all, Casey Kreider. So shout out to him.
Here.
Okie doke.
Can you explain your jean jacket?
Yeah, I can explain it. It's cold, a little chilly in here. 1, 2. Here's a real reason. Freaking Ray. It's the Halloween parties today, okay? And basically, Ray wants really high participation, but I'm not gonna wear the full Bruce Springsteen outfit on FRL. 1, it's not actually Halloween for any of you people. 2, I knew none of you guys were going to dress up and participate. So I'm not going to be the only one looking born to run on the set. But I am just wearing a straight white T-shirt, and, I don't want to get barbecue stain on it, so I just threw the jacket on for a little extra warmth.
Christian called me yesterday, and he's like, we're just talking wrestling like we always do. I was like, hey, what'd you hear about this? What'd you do about that? Hey, how's things going? What are you working on? And he's talking, and I'm like, where are you at right now? And he's like, the Bruce Springsteen cover? He's like, I'm getting a belt, try to look like that's what I'm doing for Halloween. And then we're just, okay, I gotcha. And then we're talking, and he's like, I gotta go. I can't do this. I gotta get out of here. And I'm like, what are you? So I leave it go, and then like a couple seconds later, he's like, oh my God, I gotta go. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? You're scared of this belt situation? And he's like, dude, I had to get out of there. I didn't know if it was a woman's or a man's.
So I just Google. Okay, so if, on the cover of Born in the USA, he's wearing this belt. It's like a beaded, like a Western style belt. I'm like, well, here in Austin, Texas, that won't be hard to find. And it's true. There's a lot of Western shops around here. So the closest one is called Gomez Western Wear. So I was like, all right, I'll just stop by there. It's actually sort of on the way home. So I go in there, and I was the only gringo in there. And the belts were arranged in such a way and designed in such a fashion that I didn't know if it was a women's belt, because there were some effeminate features to them. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get my belt here. I just, you know what? The authenticity, I may get a ding for the belt. The belt is just, I just have kind of a regular belt. So, yeah. And I just had to get out of there because I was confused and nervous and scared, and so I just left there. I left Gomez's Western Wear and head to Ross, dress for less. Made it happen. So yeah, that's why I'm wearing a denim jacket today. Now enough, Willie. Got me off task because I want to talk about Ohio State wrestle-offs because we had actual wrestling this weekend. It's the closest we got to real action. It was teams wrestling each other, and Ohio State was the best team to wrestle itself, and some interesting results for sure. Probably the biggest one of them all, 184, Zach Steiner taking out Gavin Hoffman in a match where Gavin Hoffman may have spent, I'll say, 2.5 minutes like this on shots.
Yes.
Just completely extended, just nothing. But he was there every I don't know, 15 seconds of the match. And he had one takedown, to his credit, but had a hard time finishing. And then he was up, and this is a point that Willie made. He was up 3-0 with riding time in the third period and lost the match, giving up an escape and 2 late takedowns and couldn't get away at the end and lost to Zach Steiner, who looked pretty good himself. I don't know much about Zach Steiner or his greatest hits, but he's a definite quality option for the Buckeyes. I am assuming that Gavin will eventually win this spot back and be the guy there, but you never know. And I remembered, I think the kind of general consensus was, the Buckeyes didn't look exactly great in a couple spots. And I was like, man, last year Gary Traub beat Chase Singletary. Weird things happen in wrestle-offs. There's so much familiarity there, and I think that's what keeps the attack rates a little lower, except for instances where guys are just like way outclassed at 149 or 33.
Zach Steiner,
97.
Same high school as Colin Moore.
Okay.
Norwayne.
Little Wayne?
Norwayne.
Oh. I really thought you said Little Wayne. I was like, is this a reference? If it was a reference lost to me, it wouldn't surprise me. So thoughts on the Steiner-Hoffman?
Well, I thought, Gavin got to legs a bunch, but I mean, 2 things. One, a guy could lose a wrestle-off. That's a better guy, and it doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. Maybe it's just an off match. Maybe there's familiarity there. But for Gavin, I think it was a bad debut, so to speak, for Gavin, in the sense that if he's having trouble finishing on Zach Steiner and getting caught under there extended so often, that's not just a bad performance. That's something you got to clean up immediately. You got to fix that, right? And overall, I thought that was sort of symptomatic of all the key bouts. Is that, again, it's early. It's the earliest, and there's familiarity there. But I thought all the key bouts didn't go the most rosy way for the Buckeyes. It was funny because we talked about last week all the upside that they had, and you look at their score, you look at their projected team scores, and who might be able to fill in here and get a bump and close the gap on Penn State for this year. And you didn't get that indication out of those 3 key spots.
And if Caleb Romero could finish the single leg on Rocky Jordan, he was on multiple times. I mean, he was on Rocky's legs, I think, I mean, I don't consider like Hoffman in and of like this like a quality attempt, but he had the angle on a single leg several times. Romero did against Rocky Jordan, and just couldn't find a way to get height with it or finish backside double on that single leg. But it's very clear he's able to get in. And Rocky was somewhere like, okay, this guy just put up big numbers on Fitzgerald, who we all think is a solid dude, and then. So, yeah, he'll probably beat Caleb Romero, who had a really tough season. So, I don't know if it's probably just a combination of Caleb is going to be better up at 74. He's a year better. He's a hardworking guy. They're two quality recruits coming out. They're both probably top 3-ish guys.
Rocky had also not wrestled a real match since his state final.
Whoa.
Here's what's odd to me though.
That's crazy.
He
did nothing. He did no redshirt matches.
No, he broke his foot.
And so for that
I
reason,
would have liked.
Yes.
I would have liked to see the Fitzgerald match.
What's up with the Jordan's feet?
Yeah.
Problematic.
But here's the thing: Romero chased him around for like 7 minutes. It's hard for me to get a gauge on Rocky and where he's at because, I mean, Romero chased him around. At no point in time Rocky could have been hit for stalling more often.
I agree.
And at no point in time was Rocky close to anything that resembled a takedown. But yet, he beat Fitzgerald 13-0. Mm-hmm. And so I would like to see more than a larger sample size and see what was it just the style matchup? Romero's just coming and in a different match, Rocky was a little bit more offensive, or I don't know. I mean, did Rocky turn him a bunch? I don't know. I don't know what the situation is. So I think the jury's still kind of out on that.
He definitely had to have some turns because it was 13-0.
Yeah.
So probably at least 1 or 2 sets of near fall. Just quick rundown. Malik Heinzelman won 7-2 over Hunter Lucas. Malik looked good. Decatur dominates Dylan Kuntz. Pletcher beats Quinn Kinner, who I thought Kinner looked good, but Pletcher's just on that level right now. Sasso dominates Trey Griner. Cleary Maddox. Hopefully we don't have to watch that again. That was a tough match to watch. A lot of teammate familiarity, guys struggling to score, and it was a reversal and tiebreakers, I think, for Cleary that was ultimately the difference. Karchla beats Ethan Smith in the match we were probably most excited to see. Mm-hmm. Now the question becomes, will Karchla get the nod? I'm thinking the answer is no. They're going to wrestle Smith. They're going to wrestle Ethan Smith this year, which I think is fine, smart.
I thought Smith looked great.
Yeah, he's good.
I mean, he didn't finish, but man, that dude shot more than Russell Westbrook.
Oh wow, that's a good one. I know where you were gonna go there. I got nervous. I don't know, but no, that was well done, Willie. Stephen Kyle, give us your Buckeye rundown.
I was really surprised with the Rocky Jordan match. I was expecting a lot more, especially after what we saw with Fitzgerald. And then it felt like one of those matches where you see this in folk style sometimes, and I know I harp on it a lot. It felt like the wrong guy won. It felt like the guy who did majority of the attacking the entire match didn't win, but you got to be able to get off bottom. And then,
that's another thing too, right, Kyle? Is that it was like Romero had no shot of holding down Rocky, and he also had no shot at getting out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a good breakdown, and then Rocky's deep waist was tight, and he was basically glued to the mat. Good pressure.
And then 65, we all picked Clarksville to win, but still came away impressed with Ethan Smith and think as long as the weight's not a problem, he'll be good there this year. And I think we all talked about that. If Clarksville blew the doors off of him, maybe run him out right away. But since it was that tight, I think it's smart to redshirt him. And then, I was really impressed with Sammy Sasso too. Just seeing him light up the scoreboard and just keep working to score points. I think he's going to be the guy there at 49 and score a lot of points for Ohio State this year.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Sasso Hayes. Keyshawn Hayes, the one guy not involved here. Apparently, they're both going to go to Michigan State Open and settle it in the Thunderdome in East Lansing. Just call things Thunderdomes now. Just anything competitive, it's a Thunderdome.
They always do it in that field house.
Yeah, quite a dome. So also, stay woke on some more shuffling for the Buckeyes. Who knows if this is going to happen, but possibility. Decatur goes down to 25. Redshirt Malik. Kinner goes 33. Pletcher 41. The winner of probably goes Sasso 49 and Hayes 57. Would be a really interesting change if it did. I don't know how Decatur does down at 25, but that is definitely a consideration.
How are you going to talk to me about belt choices and not tell me this on the phone? You just dropped this on everybody on the on the show.
Willie, I'm dead serious. I told everyone this yesterday at work, but you don't live here, so I don't remember what I've told. I don't catalog everything I've told. There's a lot of things I thought.
Hey, what's going on? Nothing. I'm looking for a belt. This one might be feminine. Too feminine for me. You might want to say that Jordan Decatur might be going down.
We had this exact issue with you yesterday. So.
With me?
No, with him.
No, with him. He wasn't telling us stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, mind your P's and Q's, Mr. Sailor.
Yeah. That means pints
I'm an
and
open
quarts.
book, my friend.
Okay, so
that would be.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm certainly not withholding this information from you. Also, it's rumor. It's rumor. It's a little. I just know it's being kicked around. We'll see. Decatur at 25. That could be something, huh?
Mm-hmm. That's different. I like him at 25.
You like everyone at the lowest weight possible. You like Sasso at 118.
Yeah, I don't know. Good at 49.
Yeah.
To Kyle's point, though, it was nice to see Sammy. Sammy. Listen, it's been a couple occasions. Often in freestyle, I think, but there's been a couple occasions where Sammy got kind of gassed late. Let's be honest, he kind of faded late, and to see Sammy working for a score in a wrestle-off with 10 seconds to go is pretty encouraging.
Yeah.
Also, did you see that Sammy? They gave Sammy some kind of black shirt award, and they said it's like the third black shirt in the history of the program. I don't know what a black shirt means, but that sounds.
Well, they just started giving them out this year, so.
They've already given out 3?
It's just like, yeah, so if they took it from the Ohio State football team, they give you a black stripe on your helmet when you've, proved yourself, I guess, for lack of a better terms, all right, you're legit, I don't know.
Nice.
And then, so they gave one to Colin Moore and Luke Pletcher, and now Sammy got his.
Love it. He's very deserving. Total beast. So also in somewhat unrelated Ohio State news, just scrolling on the Twitter, and I see Anthony Echemendia at the Ohio State football game, decked out in Ohio State gear, loving his visit. And I said, I really thought I saw a video you posted where he was signing for Iowa State. So I was confused. And apparently, I don't know what he signed. Someone find out what Anthony Etchemendy actually signed, because there's no way he signed a national letter of intent. Otherwise, this visit is no bueno. I guess he didn't sign that. He signed something.
That was fake news, apparently. He did not sign anything.
He signed something. He did not sign the thing that makes it so he can't visit other schools.
Right.
Whatever he signed, he didn't sign the national letter of intent. So, sorry we're confused. Didn't realize this was still a possibility, but now everyone in the free world is after this guy. He's absolutely outstanding, and I don't know where I don't know if the Iowa State thing is just done. He's not going there anymore. I don't know if something happened there or he just realized, hey, I can look around, but I think the Iowa State thing's not even going to happen now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
Does anyone have any insight? What did he sign? What is happening? I know he's going to visit.
Well, I
he's
think
apparently visiting Iowa, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
I think the outlet and maybe it's not their fault. I don't know, but I think the outlet that reported that he signed an NLI and he has people around the table and he's signing something and they report that he signed this NLI. I think they got because he didn't sign an NLI, right? I mean,
that's
unless
right.
Got
there's no, I don't know recruiting rules up and down.
Definitely.
And also the time. In retrospect, the timing of signing an NLI, that's not when you signed an NLI. Right?
Yeah, there's like different windows when you can sign, right?
Yeah, so the 2019 class, they had up until like August something.
He might have signed in August.
No, because it was closer to who's number one.
Was it?
Yeah.
I guess you're right, because, he signed right before. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look
So
up the
that's
one for
point.
this year, 'cause they're gonna be
That's
similar.
point one. Point one is he didn't sign, and he must have got the publication must have got. Number two, go ahead, Kyle.
He's signed on September 20th is all I was going to say.
Right, okay. So this year, so again, this is for the 2020 year, but the dates are going to be essentially the same. All Division 1 and 2 sports, aside from football, can sign up until August 1st, 2020, which means it was likely August 1st, 2019. And then there's a dead period of sorts, I guess you want to call it, till November. This year it's November 13th. Last year it was sometime around that, the 14th or the 12th. So
here's what
he signed he wrote something on a piece of paper that in all likelihood was not the national letter of intent.
What if he wrote the word "psych" on it?
He could have.
He pretended
my
to
question
fake.
is this. I understand that the signing day, November, whatever, but he already graduated high school. He's not He's not
Well, that's why they have
senior in high school.
That's why they have up until August, right? So it's like basically up until the school year starts, or slightly before the school year starts.
So he can graduate high school, and because he hasn't signed anywhere by August 1st, he can't go to college and wrestle anywhere? That makes no sense.
Probably not, unless it's a community college. I bet.
Iowa Central
Or anything that's not D1 or D2. I bet anywhere that any level that has an NLI, he could not go.
I don't understand.
Well, that can't be true because up until the point of last Thursday, we thought he was wrestling this year.
But if he doesn't, then that may have been false.
Yeah, maybe everything was fake.
I don't know. We're speculating a lot on some rules we don't know, but one thing's for sure is that wasn't the window to sign. He couldn't have signed because he's pursuing other schools. And okay, so that's the rule situation. The actual real life stuff is like what happened in the interim. Well, you know what else is a little tricky is like IA Wrestle ran an article that he decommitted. I don't know. Did he in fact 100% decommit? I was a little confused by that. But then the Iowa State wrestlers sort of gave him the business, or like they weren't so friendly on social media. So I'm like, all right, that doesn't seem like a situation that's going to rectify itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, nor I. I don't understand. I mean, he was training with David Card, who's number one. Metcalf was there. I mean, So I was so bamboozled to learn this. So now it's on, right? Everyone's after this guy. He's clearly an Impact wrestler. Visited Ohio State. He's going to visit Iowa. I think, Arizona State's definitely interested. I'm sure he's probably interested in them, having sort of been from Arizona. So who knows how this is going to play out? He's going to make a difference wherever he winds up if all the other things can align for him.
Yeah, one thing, I was under the impression, and back to your point that, at Who's Number One and prior to Who's Number One, it was like he was all in at ISU. And those guys were super supportive of him. Like you said, the teammates and the coaches were there and stuff. But one thing it has to change the timeline, right? I mean, how do you apply and get in and still wrestle? Because Iowa State was saying they anticipated the indications were that they thought he was going to wrestle this year, and maybe even first semester. Yeah. And I can't imagine that happened anywhere else.
No idea. It's a weird situation. So he got a little heat for it on Twitter for the change. He says, I'm just doing what everyone does. But it's not quite true. But Anthony's he's not been in our country for all that long. So I'm sure there's a definite learning curve and kind of understanding how this works. It's a very unique process, one that, doesn't exist in Cuba.
Certainly does not exist in Cuba.
Definitely does not exist in Cuba or really anywhere else, actually, now that I think about it. So don't blame him for exploring options. The timing is a little confusing. I wonder if he's getting bad advice or whatever that says, hey, yeah, sign here, do it right now, go, go, go. And then, hold on, wait, I can look elsewhere. You don't know what you don't know in that type of situation. But I don't fault him for... If he has the availability to change his mind, he should be able to do it. Okay. We did it. No more. Steve and Kyle, any other super juicy wrestle-off results?
Apparently Brayton Lee lost.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. To Baylor Fernandez. And it was like weird 8-2 in like ultimate tiebreakers.
Yeah.
You rarely see something like that. So it sounds like...
Flirted with bonus points in ultimate tiebreakers.
Sounds like he got turned.
It's hard to do.
So we'll see. I believe Baylor Fernandez is a true freshman, right?
Yeah.
So I would doubt that he would go over Brayton, but interesting result.
Baylor, really solid kid. I thought that his best attribute was on top coming out of high school. I would never have predicted him beating Brayton, but the top stuff makes a difference. And I don't know, another wrestle-off result, and what do you make of it? I probably think that Brayton beats him 90 times out of 100. I don't know, maybe that's not true, but I also just get the impression that Brayton is probably a guy that gets better as the year goes on. He probably is not at the top of his game. I just think, but Brayton wins so much he wins a lot of the matches late. His conditioning is a big thing for him. So
the kind of the vibe of when you read the Minnesota forum. So first of all, it was an open practice. There was no real indication that it was a wrestle-off or even a scrimmage. It seemed like they were just kind of doing matches for
wasn't a maroon gold
for the fans. And Braden's a 49, Baylor's a 57, so there's probably a little size thing there, and there probably wasn't like an actual weigh-in like you sometimes have for these types of things. And then there are other people saying that his back looked messed up afterwards. So I don't know. I know Baylor Fernandez is good on top. And hopefully, Braden's not injured in any way, and hopefully we get to see Baylor Fernandez beat up some more dudes on top this year.
Lots of hoping.
But it didn't sound like there was a, wrestle-off feel to it.
At Virginia Tech, Connor Brady beat number 17 BC LaPrade 7-4.
I don't think. Do you think?
I don't think they're gonna go with Brady.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, no reason. And then
that's another one. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Virginia Tech. I thought the optimism that Ohio State had was sort of muted a little bit by the wrestle-off results. I think that some of the results from Virginia Tech, also with Prada beating Latona.
Mm-hmm.
Smeltzer, Cody Howard.
Cody Howard was the guy I had, and no disrespect to Smeltzer, but if Howard's going to be a factor, you would think that he would win that match. And Antonian 6'2". It sounded like the first period was wild, but no, Brett Moore is good and a veteran, but I just think maybe, slow down on some of these freshmen. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Smeltzer is probably the biggest surprise, just based on everything we heard about Cody Howard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, at Rutgers, keeping on the freshman topic, Jojo Aragona won both of his matches, including beating Peter Lipari, who qualified for nationals last year. Sammy Alvarez also won both of his matches, beating Meltzer and Firestone, guys who we've seen in the lineup for Rutgers before. So it'll be interesting to see if those two go right away for Rutgers. And we do have their first duel live Saturday. So.
Heck yeah.
And Alvarez posted something on Instagram about making his college debut.
He did on Twitter too, but
which does not necessarily mean that he will be wrestling attached in a duel, because there are opens this weekend. However,
vis-a-vis,
he plans on wrestling. JoJo, I don't know. I would wrestle JoJo at the shoot.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of definitely been the consideration all along with JoJo, and I think eventually he goes. Now, a bone to pick with Willie's Italian rankings. You got Peter Liparian when this man just lost to JoJo Aragona.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, first of all, I couldn't sleep last night. It was like 2:00 in the morning when I did these. And I did these rather quickly, but
okay.
I didn't expect Aragona to wrestle this year, maybe.
What? Yeah, you did. You knew. I was not belt shopping when we talked about this.
You had all kinds of people bumping up weights.
Yeah.
No, well,
I like the bumps.
Chenzo.
Which then caused Labriola to bump, which then caused Bonacorsi to bump.
Yeah.
You got to bump.
Well,
you got to make some tough decisions.
They put the best team together.
You got the best 10 on the mat, I guess.
Also, Anthony Cassar, not Italian.
We need to have a serious talk about the state of Italian-American wrestlers at 141 pounds. Very slim pickings.
Well, that's my Aragona point. If you can bump up all three weights, all these guys up weights, you can't pull Aragona's red shirt for the Paisans?
Well,
you don't think you have authority to do that? You're like, well, I don't want to get into pulling red shirts here.
I don't know why. I don't know why I started thinking it. I don't know why I started thinking about it.
No one does.
I don't know why I started thinking about Italians, but then I was like, I bet you can put a pretty good squad together. And I started looking through the rankings, and I go to 41, and there's no Italians. I mean, it's a real problem in America.
There's no words
there. There's no Italians at 141. Not many. Slim pickings.
I bet there's some that you don't know are Italians.
Yeah.
How about Sparaccio? He qualified last year.
No, okay. So let me. Okay,
last 2 years.
I just went.
He qualified.
I went through the rankings. I went through the rankings at 41, and obviously Aragona's name wasn't there, so that's why I didn't have him in there.
All right.
But in doing so, like everything, I started going down a rabbit hole, and I'm like, I was literally typing in what nationality is Cutler, right? Cutler is apparently French.
Cutlery makes sense.
Oh, I also typed what nationality is DeSanto? Spanish, Spain. He's from Spain, or it says they're from Spain. But anyway, I think I could put together really good squads from like Ireland, Greece.
Hey, you know who else is
not
French?
Spain. France, maybe.
Spencer Lee. So you got Spencer and Cutler. That's pretty solid.
In just Western Europe, you got DeSanto.
I feel like DeSanto's definitely Italian, though.
Yeah.
I feel like he's probably Italian.
Yeah, no.
This is the research we need to do. Okay, moving on. We did that. I think we hit the wrestle-off scene well enough. Did we? Yeah, I think we did it. Is there anything else?
Connor McGonigal into overtime with Nick Farrow, which is interesting because Farrow's their projected starter. McGonigal is like lifetime and 0 against Julian Clabo, a guy who I picked to place. So I want to see some Connor McGonigal this year.
Okay. Other than that,
Little Rock and Long Island had their wrestle-offs, which is just good because they're wrestling, and we want them to wrestle and have more programs. So that's good.
all right. Permission to move on from wrestle-offs. Granted,
Yeah, I guess we're gonna get into top 2 teams.
Top 2 teams, starting with the number 2 team in America, the Iowa Hawkeyes, led by Coach Tom Brands. Here's their lineup, as I believe it will be heretofore. Okay. 125, Spencer Lee. 133, Austin DeSanto. 141, Max Murin. This is Turk's got a chance to start here, but I think it'll be Murin, Lugo, Caleb Young, Bull, Kemmer, Cash, Wilkie at 84. Now, Nelson Brand's watch is he's going to be hovering around 74, 84. What are you looking at?
84? Remember they were trying to suck him down to 57?
Don't rule it
The
out.
Hawkeye Report?
Yeah, not anymore.
That's a big
Learned,
gap.
Hawkeye
57 and
Report
84.
learned from the Grothis situation. They were trying to they cut him down to 41. It didn't go well.
Explain this. Why wouldn't it be Cash? Why would they move Nelson all the way up to 84?
No, I'm not saying they're benching Cash Wilkie. I'm saying watch out. Nelson Brands is going to be in the mix at 74 and 84. Like, if they hold Kimmer out for some things, I think we'll see Nelson Brands. If Cash is, I think he's going to try to make the team. He's not just going to be like, all right, I'm the backup. If you had to choose a guy to try to kick out of the lineup, are you go after Kimmer, Bull, or Cash Wilkie? Willie?
Well, yeah, but I don't expect him to start anywhere.
Okay. Do you think that's picture yourself as an elite Division I wrestler? Do you think that's just okay? I'll accept that and just call it a year. See you next year. Hopefully, someone graduates. I think he's probably going to try to start.
Yeah, lots of guys are going to try to start. I just don't think he's going to.
Hater. Big hater.
Well, I say a big reason I say that is not because of his talent level. It's because I was talking to him at Who's Number One, and he did not seem that big. Like 84 kind of shocks me. But
yeah, he's not that big. He's not an 84-pounder, but I mean,
so he isn't full size.
Tom Brands. Yeah, no one's saying he's a big 84. That's why I said 74 first. When I said 74, if he's a full-size 84. Tom even said he's going to help us this year, whether it's 65, 74, or 84. He said those weight classes. So take it up with Tom.
That, to me, intimates a pitch count situation for Kemmerer based on having missed an entire year with an injury and not wanting to incur that injury.
Yes.
Because Michael Kemmerer can be
really good.
Huge points for them this year.
Monster. Jacob Warner at 97. Anthony Cassiope, 285.
Is he your Italian heavyweight?
yes.
Okay. Tournaments, dual schedule for the Hawkeyes. They go Midlands. It's their only real tournament. Other than Big Tens. It's pretty tough. Dual-wise, UTC, Iowa State, Princeton, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, Minnesota, Oklahoma State. Have mercy.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, huh? For the first time in a couple years, they have a really good home schedule.
Yes.
I was going to say, the
well,
are home.
Wasn't that long ago. They had Ohio State and Penn State at home Mark's freshman year. I'm pretty sure. So they've had some good ones, but yeah, as far as it's been, definitely last year was not their best home schedule.
My recollection of Iowa is typically that they kind of slow play into Midlands, and a lot of those guys like going to Midlands with undefeated records or very good records.
Yeah,
they're doing very well. But this year, Iowa State, Wisconsin, and Princeton. Now, I'm favoring Iowa as a whole in those duels, but there's some individual matchups that they're going to have to work for.
And also the Iowa State duel for a couple of years running was not really a thing.
Right.
Like they were just running them out of the gym. And now as that squad has improved, that's become a tougher duel where they almost lost it last year. And this year it's going to be really, really tough duel as well. So they'll have that. And then Wisconsin being early first semester or in early December is definitely a deviation. And then Princeton, they had them early last year too. So, yeah, you're exactly right. Normally it's a much slower burn there for their schedule, but they're going to be in the fire pretty early and often.
Yeah, and Princeton, we talked about that during when we did their thing, but that's their Hell Weekend, and Brecky's coming out with an article, toughest non-conference schedules. What is Iowa going to be on that one, Brecky?
No, and I'll talk about it more in the article, but it's tough for these Big Ten teams to be in the toughest non-conference schedule because they wrestle more conference duels
They have 9,
than
right?
pretty much any other conference. Yeah, every team wrestles 9, so you have less dates, and then the majority of the time, because their schedule is so hard with that Big Ten schedule, they're going with weaker non-conference opponents.
Right.
Which makes total sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and they can't schedule the best teams in the country non-conference because they're in their conference.
Correct.
That's the hardest part of building.
And they already have one pretty much always with Oklahoma State.
Yep. And Iowa State. So
yeah.
There's 2 of your non-conference right there.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So, tough schedule for Iowa, fun duel. Let's discuss.
You know what pops?
What pops, buddy?
They only graduate 2 guys
Mm-hmm.
in Lugo and Cash. So, I mean, that's a salty team that's going to come back.
100% true. Mike, who do you think goes 49 for them next year? I bet Murin moves up.
Yep.
I think they
he is
move
big.
up. I think they all move up. I mean, I was surprised by you saying DeSanto at 33. Not like shocked, but I thought for sure, reading tea leaves, I thought DeSanto was going to move up, Murin was going to move up. But it's probably the right play. DeSanto at 33, Murin at 41, Lugo, because Lugo's a senior. Now, next year, Lugo comes out, those guys can move up, and probably Abe Assad at 84 if him, or maybe, I guess, Nelson if he had some size. And you're looking at 10 really, really, I mean, that's a good lineup.
That's why I think they're a better shot. They might have a better shot next year of winning the title than this year. Now, this year they're obviously very much in the mix, but just the composition of their team with other teams, especially Penn State, they might have a better shot next year.
Penn State loses Mark, Chenzo, we
3
think
national
Shakur,
We think Kassar,
but
maybe.
Kassar could definitely be back
Sure.
somehow.
And then returning, Yanni Ironman, so maybe a guy like Nick Lee. And obviously, those guys could go up, but maybe Nick Lee's points go back down when 33 gets tougher again. Maybe RBY's points go back down. So, like, Lee and RBY could be very high. They might just stay high, but they might be higher this year than they are next year because guys come
Well,
back.
it is episode 420.
Wow.
They're probably going to stay high.
Guys, it is 420 is marijuana's birthday. We all get it, guys. It's so funny. It's so funny. Okay, now a lot of Teasdale questions, but I think he's not going to be able to wrestle.
Somewhat fueled by you.
Well,
Somewhat just poured gasoline on the fire by you.
what is it? Wait, how?
I don't think a lot of people were talking about the second semester thing until you brought it up,
Yeah,
including the people on this show.
yeah. I'm sorry about that. That's a classic. I must have been belt shopping. Anytime I don't tell you something, I was just focused on getting a nice Western style belt. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be able to wrestle till second semester, and for that reason, I think DeSanto goes 33, and they gotta like Murin, and maybe it's just about a year of getting Gavin ingrained with the program, and then next year he's ready to go. My question is an eligibility one. Was last year a red shirt, or was it like it didn't happen and he's going to get it back and he's still got 5 years, so
He's
could redshirt.
listed on the roster as a redshirt freshman.
So that makes me wondering. But here's the thing: have we ever seen Iowa do a mid-year plot twist with their lineup where they bump someone up to slide someone in? Like, it's something that we're like, it makes sense on paper, but actually just Division I wide. Have you ever seen that? Like, take a legit All-American.
Oklahoma State last year.
Oh, that was, yeah. And you know what we were saying last year? We've never seen anything like this.
Yes.
This has never happened. So
Yeah, I don't think
not
that
an All-American. Like, yeah, sure, guys that you're trying to fit guys in and make redshirts work and all that, sure. But never like a All-American or a group of All-Americans together kind of moving them about.
there have been some instances where a guy's tried to make the weight. Like, I remember Colt Sponseller went down to 57 for like an hour and a half. And then it was like, well, he can't hold that. So he goes back.
Pantaleo drop.
Yeah, Pantaleo.
Mono. Yeah.
Pantaleo drop. But it's never like, this guy's a 33. He's fine at 33. He wrestles the first semester. DeSanto's going to do well at 33. Maybe
Sure.
I've just never seen. It's very rare to see a guy bump. So for that reason, I don't think it's going to happen. But maybe they say Teasdale could force their hand if he is wrestling really well and he's eligible to wrestle and all that stuff, and he goes to Midlands, which there's nothing prohibiting him from wrestling at Midlands. I don't think.
What?
Because if he wrestles, because they have like Iowa unattached and they have unattached.
There's various attachments,
Which is always fun.
So what if he goes to Midlands and wins? But then maybe it's a consideration. But I don't know.
Also, maybe it's a situation because we said before, DeSanto has discussed the possibility of moving up a long time ago. And while it would be odd, and sort of the precedent usually doesn't say this happens too often. Maybe DeSanto makes 133 a couple times and is like, "No, I'm going up." That could be a case. Now, I saw somebody post somewhere. Is DeSanto and Gavin going to wrestle somewhere in an open or something?
I haven't seen
wrestle
that.
each other.
I would doubt it unless it happened at Midlands.
Yeah. No,
I don't know why DeSanto
I mean-
would go to an open.
Right.
Yeah, true.
That's where my head's at as well.
So I don't know. I mean, it's certainly an exciting. It's a lineup shifting, a team race impacting move. If they bump up DeSanto and throw Teasdale, I don't think that's going to happen this year. It seems to make a lot of sense next year. I don't know if Gavin's going to want it or whatever. If he meets the criteria. But if he doesn't meet the criteria for getting a year back, I don't understand who does. These guys are getting years back for just because they were on the bench for a year behind someone. And they can say they were in, this guy,
Well, that's the other thing is
didn't wrestle a match.
The stuff doesn't happen until after the fact, right? So
Yeah.
being listed as a redshirt freshman is probably their understanding as of, whenever they put it in August, right? But in August of 2020, it could be like, okay, no, he's now once again a redshirt freshman.
Yeah. To be clear, I'm all for guys getting years back. I think it's great. I love it. But, we can also call it what it is.
Yeah. Well, and again, like what teams put on rosters, like that should be taken with some level of respect, right? Because those are the people that theoretically know it. However, things can change, right? Kemmer is listed as a senior this year, and we all very much believe that he's going next year.
Oh, yeah.
That's a
Right?
That's a thing too with Nomad. You can't get accurate information on the freaking roster half the time. It's like their own website lists them wrong or does something wrong. You can't get box scores. You can't get wrestle-offs. You don't know who's starting. You don't know who's.
This is for
You
a
don't know
lot of
who's
schools.
going
Some schools
where.
are most of them do a decent job, at least with the roster. Some of them takes them a little bit, but anyways. So that's Iowa.
Let's go into who they got coming in because they just got a Super 32 champ commit last night. So for 2020, they have, and Willie did his mid-season, early season, pre-signing day recruiting class rankings, which is smart because there's only a few guys left. But they've got, and these are big board rankings, number 5, Patrick Kennedy, number 17, Jesse Ibarra, number 35, Brett Lee Reyna, number 55, Cullen Shriver, and number 105, Gabe Christensen, along with Leif Schroeder of Montana and Colby Shriver, Cullen's brother. So those are all 2020 guys, and then obviously Wyatt Henson committed a week or two ago. He's their only 2021 commit as of this time. So kind of looking ahead, they have weights filled now. Because my kind of question going forward was, what do they do in that 49 to 65 range, or 74, with depending on what Kennedy does. So they have guys there now. They just got to fit them in, and then you're saying Echemendia is going to visit them. So
yeah,
do they continue to try and not recruit over guys or whatever, but continue to stockpile?
I say they stockpile. It's the Iowa Hawkeyes.
You have to. Do you think that with Reyna's commitment, do you think, I don't want to say they moved on, but do you think that the Sokol ship has sailed?
I think Sokol's going to Ohio State, personally.
I think between Reyna and Henson.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that kind of fills both those weights.
And, yeah. Yep. I agree, too.
And then again, even this is something I talk about with parents all the time, right? Even if Ryan Sokol believes he's the best kid in the country, believes he's going to beat all those guys, believes he's going to be a national champ when he gets to college, right? That's why he's doing all these things. But there's still money tied up. So you might end up getting a worse deal.
There's money tied up. You get a worse deal, and I don't think anybody that's you don't not believe you can beat those guys, but you certainly are less inclined to go to a place where it's going to be harder to start, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Now,
Times look good though for the next. Like they're going to be back in that 1-2 range because they're kind of hanging the 3-4 for a little bit.
Well, this year, man, it would be. It's hard to picture a scenario where they're not top 2 this year, right?
Is it hard to picture a scenario where that's not what we get? Is it hard to picture a scenario that Penn State's 1, Iowa's 2? I mean, it's hard for me to envision anything else but that.
It's 2018. It's very similar to that Penn State Ohio State year.
You think?
Yeah. Where there's 2 very clear teams and there's question marks, but it's going to play out through the course of the year, and then they're going to go and they're going to suck up all the points, and it's going to be 130 to 120, 140 to 130. I mean, it's going to be a big gap. I think it's going to be a lot like that 2018 year.
What's more likely, Iowa wins or finishes outside the top 2?
More likely
to happen.
More likely is that they win.
Yeah, I agree.
Them finishing outside top 2 would mean calamitous things happen. Injuries and,
the only way they finish not second is if, right, they have the worst luck in history, and I don't know, maybe. I mean, who else can take second?
That's the thing.
Ohio State, maybe.
Who's getting second if not Iowa or Penn State? I don't see a third superpower here. I see 2 powers, and I see like 10 really good teams.
So in 2018, Penn State got 141.5, Ohio State got 133.5. Iowa was third with 97, so 36.5 points behind, and both Penn State and Ohio State got team points deducted, so 37 points separating 2 and 3. And I think we're going to have a similar situation this year.
Yeah, but this year, I mean, 97's sort of high for third.
You're saying
it
could be even bigger.
I'm saying this year, I don't know if there's a 97-point third-place team.
I agree with you, Willie. 97 is high. 97 has put you in the mix to win titles in past years. I mean, with 2000.
I mean, Ohio State won with 102.
In 2009, what did Ohio State or what did Iowa win by there? That was one of the lowest I can ever remember because no team could stay out of their own way. Everyone kind of had a chance and
crabs in a barrel type situation. Everybody's just.
There's been a couple times.
It was 96.5
been a couple times that the team title
92.
Yeah.
So 96.5 won it in 2009.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, because you don't always need 100 to win. So that's 97 is that's a great performance.
What I'm looking at, so it's combined scores, right? That 2018 was the second most combined 1 and 2. The first being when Iowa scored 170 points, and Oklahoma
that makes it tough.
Oklahoma State was second with 113.5. But so the top 8 or 9 kind of closes out at 256.5. So we're gonna see I think we're easily gonna see a top 10 combined 1 and 2 all time. Penn State and Iowa here.
A top what?
Yeah.
Combined? Top 3 or 4?
So it'll be the number 1 team score and the number 2 team score.
Mm-hmm.
When you combine them, it'll be top 10 all time based on.
Got it.
Like in 2017 was also very high. Penn State and Ohio State combined for 256.5. I think it's going to be something above that, in the 260s.
In 2013 and 2014, the team race was maybe the most competitive I've seen it in terms of 3 or 4 teams involved. Because 2014, Penn State, Oklahoma State, and Minnesota all late in the game had chances to win. The Minnesota was the Dardanes away. I feel like Oklahoma State had a shot late as well.
What was the Z year?
That was 2013.
Yeah.
And they were right there to win it that year as well.
123.5 to 119.5. Penn State over Oklahoma State, and their heavyweight he looked to have a shot. He looked to win, and then.
And Minnesota had 110.5 that year, and then in 2014 it was Penn State 109.5, Minnesota 104, Oklahoma State 96.5.
Yeah. So late in the game, it was everyone was in, and that year Iowa had a great shot to win. They didn't. That was a calamitous year for Iowa, 2014, in terms of their tournament results. So, Steve and Kyle, give us some Hawk thoughts.
Hawk thoughts. Excited. Ready to. It's exciting to see them back in the top 2, have a real shot at winning. And when it's against Penn State, it makes it that much more fun.
Yeah.
Agree?
Completely agree. It's the best rivalry there is.
Yeah.
Right.
How much of this is Spencer Lee effect? Because his impact clearly goes beyond just scoring 25 points NCAAs, right? It seemed like it shifted the program back to what they were when they were winning titles, which has kind of allowed them to get these recruits in that now you have a team that can win a title. Seems like a lot for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to quantify.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not like a thing you can.
I think his biggest impact is the points he scores in NCAA.
Yeah, I don't think he's had
yeah.
that. I don't think he's had that great of an impact on recruiting.
Although he did recruit Austin DeSanto.
And probably Gavin Teasdale. But
yeah, good point.
And fan wise, the fans seem to have more.
That's for sure.
Because I'll say this: if Spencer Lee's, if Iowa wasn't at recruiting as well as they have, it would sort of be a disaster. I mean, I don't see this giant uptick in recruiting. I think if Spencer's gonna have a dramatic impact in recruiting, it's gonna be among the 14-year-olds that are looking up to him and watching him. I don't think it's gonna be the guys who was 2 years behind him.
That makes sense.
It's possible.
Okay. I don't want to do Penn State today.
Good thing we're 3 days a week now.
Yeah.
So
mañana, baby.
And we can do Penn State tomorrow, and then still have time on Thursday to talk about
Joey Silva.
Joey Silva. Yes.
Yeah.
and all of the Division 1 duels going down November 1st.
Pretty pumped for that. Man, when will we first see Joey Silva? That's what I need to know. I'll have that answer for you Wednesday. I should know.
Why don't you just ask Sean or Leah or any of our friends? And
that's Coach Bormet to you and me, or at least me. Yeah, okay, maybe I will.
I mean, if you go by their schedule, this weekend, Michigan State Open, but then the next Friday night against North Carolina live on FloWrestling.
Oh, baby. Silva, Hernandez. Wait, not Hernandez. Who's going 41 for them?
I thought he's going 33.
You don't even know what way he's going.
I keep forgetting he's going 33.
You bum fraud fake Joey Silva fan.
I'm not a fake fan. I just kind of like him at 41, but I love him at 33. So it is Hernandez. I was right about the matchup, wrong about the weight. Just get off my back, man. All right, let's go. All right, let's go to questions from friends. Is that okay? At 9:05 here.
How much did you pay? How much did you pay for that jean jacket?
Well, I got it at Ross, dressed for less, so it was a bargain.
I'm gonna say $23.
It was 22. I swear.
Damn it.
That's a good deal.
It is a good deal.
It looks great. It's a really solid jacket. I'm going to keep this in the rotation. You think this wasn't just a Halloween purchase? This is going in the rotation. It's a great fit.
No matter, are you participating? Oh my god!
What do you think about the camo insert?
Wait, it's camo inside.
Yeah. Is it? Maybe it's a reversible jacket.
Nope.
Hold on.
Nope.
Every jacket is technically reversible.
Nope.
It's just a matter of if it'll button.
No.
It's reversible. Yep, it is reversible. Y'all keep going. It's reversible.
It's not reversible. I got an announcement to make. First a question, then an announcement. For my first question, I know the answer to this. No matter, are you participating? No matter, are you participating in Halloween dress up?
What do you think?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, follow-up announcement. We're getting our fantasy draft together, and Nomad said he's not participating.
Among others.
Explain yourself.
Well, Mike and Bader are not surprised. They're not. Fantasy is not really their thing.
Yeah.
You get really excited for fantasy.
No, I hate fantasy. I hate fantasy sports. I hate all the DMs I get about it. I hate the tweets I get about it. I hate fantasy sports. I don't want to participate. I'm sorry. It has been building.
Would you participate in fantasy wrestling?
No, I don't like fantasy sports. I don't like fantasy wrestling. I don't like fantasy baseball. I don't like fantasy football. I don't like fantasy basketball.
What about hockey?
Love fantasy hockey.
Okay.
Stop asking me about your fantasy teams. I don't care.
It's not. Who cares? That's a whole different story about people asking you about fantasy teams. Participating in fantasy, the one year that you did participate in it, or
here's what I'll do. I will do what normal people do. I'll do what normal people do if we do on like Monday or Tuesday before NCAAs, and we all get 10 people.
No, you have the whole year's worth of data. You have the seeds. You have everything. This actually shows if you can predict some things.
No, you know what this shows? Luck.
No.
It largely shows luck.
It doesn't.
The 15-man thing, and not doing any scoring throughout the course of the year until NCAAs. It's a luck thing. It is purely luck.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
If you drafted, you draft, I don't know, Jacob Holtz last week.
2 years ago, when he drafted like a monster squad, and there were a couple picks in there. And
you know why I did that? You know why I gloated over all you guys? Because I hate fantasy, and you cared about it so much, and I still beat you.
Well, I beat you last year. I beat all of you.
You beat Spay by half a point.
What does that matter?
Anyway, fantasy's dumb. I'm glad all of you guys like fantasy out there. It's great. I hate it. I've never liked it in any sport. I don't want to participate in it anymore.
So why'd you ever do it?
Because you guys like doing it.
So we still
basically browbeat me into doing it. So now this year we have an option. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm with Mike and Bader. I'm out. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I never wanted to do it.
A couple lies there. One,
they're not lies.
One, he said this year we have an option, as though it was not optional before. He said this year I have an option. It's never been mandatory.
It's totally been mandatory before.
You just made that up.
Since we hate you so much, let's make it mandatory. And if he doesn't do it, he's out of here.
All right, fine.
All right.
Please don't go though.
But
Put my money where my mouth is.
No, but for real, please don't go.
I just don't. How do you hate, especially wrestling? How do you hate fantasy wrestling?
What?
And then we'll discuss on FRL every freaking week what our predictions are. It's the same thing.
It's not the same thing because it has nothing to do with the
Yes, it is.
season. Ours is only for NCAAs.
So what?
all right.
Do you not see the difference?
Someone even asked a question
Oh,
today
really?
about how we've been getting along so much better, and now that's why we're moving on from this topic.
We're getting along. It's just Nomad does
Screamed at
things.
everyone. He lost
Because
his mind.
this has been building up in me for 3 years.
Well, that's your fault for never saying anything. No one ever said you had to do it. It's just something we do every year.
I've heard him rail against it before. Not the wrestling portion, but I've heard him rail against fantasy sports.
He didn't.
God
win
forbid
this year,
somebody
so-
make a prediction.
It is like this massive, like, fantasy and gambling have had this massive impact on sports, which is phenomenal and great. Pass.
Nomad's out. Nomad has no fantasies. All right, let's go to questions. Nomad's not in our league, so maybe we have a spot open. I don't know. Maybe we can see.
We do have a spot. I think.
How many are we up to? How many people do we have?
Wait, I think we're full. No, we have a spot open. It's an open
Once-
invitation for Sam. No, we don't. I put Sion in.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sure he'll do phenomenal.
Oh my
Only
gosh.
for that.
And
Only
won't
for
hold
the-
up the draft in
Name-
any way.
Sion had a couple months there where he was like nice and friendly. The last week or so, he has been completely incorrigible.
Persnickety.
He is so mad at me because because I get here before him and I park in the best spot, and he thinks it's his spot for some
I
reason.
don't know why he thinks that. You've been parking there for months.
Yeah,
He never parked there.
There's also no assigned spots.
There's no assigned spots. 1, 2. He can just get here earlier.
That's correct.
The spot is available a lot of times. I just happen to be the first one here every single day. So you know what? To the victor go the spoils, Sion. Set your alarm. Okay, sorry. Now I'm yelling at Sion. Look what you started.
Let's yell at everybody.
Let's yell at everybody. All right. Actual Cannibal 1, which I said we wouldn't ask this guy's questions anymore, but I don't know, Jim. He might not be an actual cannibal. I spoke to a member of the Ohio State wrestling coaching staff whose name we'll say rhymes with Mo Gordon. He said the main reason Kirk Fleet went to Ohio State was to have Snyder as a training partner. Any chance he follows Snyder to Penn State? At this point in the recruiting transfer landscape, what can be ruled out? I will say that he will not go, that he will stay, but at the same time,
That's not something you can predict.
you sort of can.
No, I know, but that's not like
Oh yeah,
it's not like a reasonable thing to predict.
yeah. That would be quite a jump for Greg. I hope.
No pickle by pinfall.
That was like a half hour ago. Thank you for catching up.
Oh, was it? He already wrestled too. Kirk Fleet. The reason I'm transitioning to Bo Nickel is because I was just checking on Kirk Fleet at U23 Worlds. He won his first match.
He should be up soon if he hasn't already wrestled. Anyway,
All right. I guess we're going U23 results. No one want to talk about that. So next.
Well, I mean,
question.
how can you? I'm with Nomad. How can you tell? I mean, both of
Well-
you guys, good points. I mean,
He to be fair, he committed to Minnesota, Oklahoma State, and then Ohio State. So there's been decisive decision making. There's been mind changing before. To say that it wouldn't happen in college is I don't know. I think potentially more of a candidate than others, especially with the Snyder dynamic. I'm sure Snyder was a factor in him going there. It's undeniable. But he's got Travell, so I'd like to train with that guy and be coached by him. Of all the Olympic redshirts, who's most likely to be pulled mid-season? Who's is least likely? Well, I would say Soriano is the only one I've even heard that it would be considered. So I think him. I don't even know who would be like number 2 on that list.
yeah.
I think all those guys are staying in. I mean, they're not going to pull Max Dean. They're not. I mean, Yanni's definitely not. I think if I had to guess one, it would be Ironman. But that's just gun to my head, just because it makes sense for him to go and win 141. But even that doesn't make sense because Grant Leith. No, I don't think any of them are.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, next question. Last week, the logo changed within FRL. We as a fan base thought you were postponing this as long as possible, but it barely made it a month. Care to explain? There's snitches.
And they got stitches.
But we didn't actually get to give them stitches. Steve and Kyle, I don't know. We still have the
I mean,
wave behind.
it wasn't in our control. As you
Obviously.
said, snitches told designers who then made it and then sent it to production, and we don't control what goes on that screen. So we didn't want it. I believe, the wave's still behind me. So
And it used to be that the curtain, show them the curtain, Bracky, Steve and Kyle. Maybe we can get into Steve's close-up here. They tried to hide it. Look, they have this big curtain.
and I said no.
No.
Yeah. He said it just like that, and he moved it, and he
Good
cut
job,
on the
Steve.
light, and now the wave still exists, and it's still green back here. Everything's supposed to be red.
Yeah, that is kind of funny.
So
At least we have that.
we've got that going for us, guys. We're keeping the green. We're keeping something, okay? We're doing the best
Did
we
we
can.
talk about how? Did we talk about how Flow Arena for like 2 days was still green, and we were like, yes, we have one like saving grace, and then it changed.
Yeah.
It's just sort of a bummer.
Jack Kennedy, what does committed mean? Let's go to our resident marriage expert, Stephen Kyle Bracky.
Well,
What a well that was.
yeah. No, I'm the wrong. You don't want
He's not
me
committed.
to talk about this because I don't care.
Yes,
if
I do.
I don't care if kids take their visits when they're committed because they're getting pressured by these coaches to commit to them, who literally will tell them, "We'll pull this. Like you have until this day to commit, or this offer's no good anymore." So that's one reason, and also they're kids. And I remember when I was looking at colleges and I would go to a campus, I would go there and I'd be like, man, this is where I want to go. And then 2 weeks later, I'd go somewhere else and be like, this is where I want to go. And it's just, it's not I don't know. It's not, they're kids. They change their minds. It's not a big deal when they say, hey, this is where I think I want to be. And then maybe something better along the line comes up where it's a better financial offer. It's a better fit for them style-wise or geographic-wise, closer to home. I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal that coaches still recruit kids that are committed because it's within the rules, and you can do it until they sign their NLI, and they haven't signed their NLI. So I don't have a problem with it.
Also, if you stop recruiting a kid who has committed,
that's on you.
That's bad.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted Bracky to work for me,
Wow.
and then I got like a verbal for him, but he couldn't switch jobs for 6 months, then I stopped talking to him. Well, that doesn't seem very good.
We could lose him to rights and acquisition.
Right.
But we kept the pressure on, and we got him back. This literally happened.
And here's the thing: it's a life decision. It's a life decision. Not so much kids, but the parents have told me like they have had kids that just about cried because they had to tell a coach no.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not an easy decision for them. It often comes down to 50-50 situation, and I need to pull the trigger, and I need to make my decision, and coaches are giving me deadlines, and once a kid verbals, things change, and we've seen once a kid signs, things change, and them willing to say, I'm even willing to sit a year if I have to, because this is the right decision for me. This is where I'm most comfortable. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And so people can poo-poo it all they want, but at the end of the day, the kid is going to do what he thinks is right and comfortable for him. Now, I mean, to be sure, there are some flaky kids out there that probably don't do their due diligence and don't think it through and get caught in the moment. But I would say that's 20% of them, and probably 80% of the guys who decommit and commit somewhere else really truly had an internal struggle with making the decision. And at the end of the day, it's their life. Just deal with it.
Yeah. So basically anytime this happens, there's someone that just tweets about how this is just they make some sort of social commentary about where we're at in society with these decommitments, and your word used to mean something and this and that. And I can't ever really quite get behind it or understand it. One, it's not that serious. It's a kid that says, I want to be on one sports team, going to another sports team as a high schooler. Two, adults change their minds all the time about things that are way, way more important, a la marriage, job, etc. Right?
Yeah.
And you're able to do that. Okay, the divorce rate is 50% in this country. A sovereign oath, a legal doc. You want to talk about signing a legal document? Okay, that's a legal doc. Before God,
you could lose half your money.
Yes. Okay.
You ain't gonna lose half your money. You change your NLI. Well, you might, scholarship wise. But
so I don't think. Two, I think it's a lot more because the one area where I do think it is sort of, to use a word, societal, is it's just the world is so connected now. This is a connected world, right? Mm-hmm. So everyone kind of knows everything. Are you telling me in the 1990s there weren't kids calling up this coach saying, yeah, I'm coming? And then, maybe they tell their friends and it's a thing. But no one knows other than their friends, because you don't tweet things in the 90s, right? It's just not out there. Maybe it doesn't even go in the paper. And even if it goes in the paper, it's only going to the people in your county or whatever, right? It's just, there's a different world then. So if you can tell me that guys were just not changing their minds, and then Gable gets on the phone, Dan Gable called. All right, I'm going there, right? Don't try to pretend this wasn't happening back then. I just don't believe it. If you can somehow prove it, then I will get up here and I'll say, you know what, I was wrong. Kids only started changing their mind in the last 10, 15 years.
Yes,
that's when it happened. That's when kids became immature and weren't making.
Teenagers decided to change their minds only within the last 6 years.
That's when it happened.
I never changed my mind. Did you ever change your mind in high school?
No.
Not once.
Yeah.
Committed.
We literally have the little sit down with Royce Alger where he talks about he was going to Northern Iowa and then Gable showed up at his house.
Yeah.
And just basically wouldn't leave. Ring. Yeah. And so he was talking about how tough it was to have to call Northern Iowa and tell him I'm not coming anymore because Gable came.
Royce Alger, he was class of 2013, I think.
Yeah, and then two, another thing I saw on social media when the whole Echemendia thing was happening is people trying to shame these coaches for still going after kids that are committed. It's their job and it's within the rules. If I'm
a wrestling coach, what is my job? It's to make the best wrestling team. Okay, to do that, I'm going to get the best wrestlers. Okay, and I'm going to do that through whatever means are legal and applicable. And I don't understand. And first of all, many of the coaches that say they don't recruit over, if he's verbal, I don't. Some of them, it's true, they don't. But many of them definitely still do recruit. They just get mad when their guys get poached. And then they want to say, I would never do that. But you definitely did and have.
I never understood why.
And will.
Just in general.
And should. And also should. You definitely should.
And should.
This is just a general commentary. Sports are always in this separate bucket of morals and ethics and rules, and it is hogwash. In pro sports, he should have stayed home, gotten a hometown discount. You take a hometown discount at the steel mill, at the school, mm-hmm. at the accounting firm. You take a hometown discount.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
No.
The sports is no different.
No.
Sports is no different. People are allowed to do the things that they want to do, and yes, sometimes they will hurt people. And yes, sometimes people will be immature and people make bad decisions.
It's because fans are nuts. It's because people root for teams. I was watching last night. I was working and I had on the pregame NFL thing and the pre-Monday Night Football thing. And I'm over here working and I didn't change the channel before the game started. So they put on this Chris Collinsworth thing. And Chris Collinsworth, I think, is the best analyst ever in any sport. And
wow.
They were talking about how sometimes you're not you can be as good and as Chris Collinsworth is also probably the most honest guy that is good at his job. Like, he's very honest. He says when there's bad officiating calls, he says when a guy screws up, and he says when a guy's lazy, and he says when a guy is brilliant. And he said, but in the fandom world, that they had on the thing, his call in the Eagles Super Bowl, where after the Super Bowl, Eagles fans ripped him to shreds and said he didn't want to see the Eagles win, and they nitpicked this thing that they said about him, and they nitpicked that thing he said about him. But then this NFL Films thing rebutted it with all the praise that he dumped on the Eagles the whole time. So people pick and choose what they want to listen to and believe in. And the thing is, they don't root for Brad Key's marriage. They don't care about Brad Key's marriage, but they root for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
I care.
You know what I mean? So they're gonna take things through a lens, and if a guy decommits, some people are gonna feel a certain way about it, and they're not gonna care if I cheat on keto, right? They're not gonna care about values unless it applies to their freaking team.
I think you've listed two things that people very much care about. People very much care about, concern, and make Twitter accounts about your keto diet. And people are very excited about Bracky's marriage and his coming baby. We had multiple questions about Bracky's child-to-be. So, yeah, I think you're wrong there. One other thing I will say, to give a little credence to, there is no reason to verbally, as far as I can tell, if I have a child and he is a freshman in high school, I'm going to counsel him to not verbally commit, because there is no good that can come of it. No, there's no benefit to doing that, right? One, it makes you look at some point indecisive. It is not great if you have to change your mind. If you make this public declaration, I'm going this place, and then I changed my mind and I'm going somewhere else, there is no actual benefit to that. There is nothing legally binding from the team to you for making your verbal commitment. You can verbally commit all you want, and your team owes you absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Two,
that's true.
You lose leverage with that team if you say, hey, I'm Richie Figueroa, and I'm going to Arizona State right now. Okay, well, this guy's coming. He's committed, so I can, maybe move some things around. You lose some leverage. There is no actual benefit to doing it. So I do understand that perspective. The people are saying, well, why did he verbally commit? Great question. I don't know. But I'm not going to vilify them for changing their minds.
Do you know what?
Well, hold on, though. I don't entirely agree with that because of what the rules... In general, yes, don't commit until you're 100% sure, right? Or you think you're 100% sure. And I'm sure there's kids out there that thought they were 100% sure at the time. I'm sure there's also kids that were about 60% sure and pulled the trigger anyway because it's fun to announce. However, with the rules currently being what they are, which are kids can come on campus, like Drake Ayala right now is taking all these visits, right? He's visiting this school and visiting that school. He's at UNC last week. He is a junior. He hasn't wrestled a match as a junior. He has 2 full seasons to go. But yet his recruiting process starts now. His recruiting process started, a few months ago. Mm-hmm. And so, 2 things. You are allowed to be actively recruited now as a junior. And 2, coaching staffs are allocating resources a whole year earlier now. This is our board. This is how we're giving this guy 60%. We're giving this guy 30%. We're giving this guy 75%. And they're making plans. So
Well,
it's not.
Yeah, that's juniors. I'm talking about a freshman. I mean, Buziello.
Well, yeah. Right, freshman. Yeah,
that's what I'm more specifically talking about. A junior, okay, yeah, you're getting in that range where you're making a more informed decision at that point. And also the team is too. The team knows what you're going to be, and they have a better clear of what they're going to be able to invest in you. And you can actually talk to the team. As a freshman in high school, technically, you are not supposed to be communicated with, right? Now, does it happen? I don't know. But that's the way it's supposed to be.
You know what? You want to look at a sport where kids commit early? Basically, we've got, I don't know, 25-ish kids on the junior big board.
Softball.
Committed. Lacrosse, basically every team has their 2021 class. Done. Right now. Fall of their junior year.
So you're fighting
gymnastics.
Lacrosse.
Gymnastics, they commit in like 8th grade.
Yep.
And I'm not even kidding.
Routinely. So.
That was a good pun.
Thank you. I don't know if you'd catch it. Now.
And that's the news.
And that's FRL question for that question.
And that's what committed means,
and
folks.
That very simply is what it means to be committed in college wrestling.
You got it?
I think we're all on the same page now. Okay, any other questions here at 9:31? There's quite a few. From Sam Herring. So Nomad and I are the unofficial Spikeball champs of 2019. Who's number one? Who else from the FRL team could beat Ybarra and Jesse Mendez with me?
Yeah.
Well,
Sam, you're looking at him.
Yeah, me and Bracky would.
So here's the thing.
Not only that team, but we would run you and Nomad out of the gym.
So here's the thing. Whoa, easy there, killer. The wrestling room game is far different than the one we play. The net's looser. The ball's not as pumped. Bracky plays a lot of short games, so he'd be fine. CP's power game, highly mitigated in the wrestling room. And there's a lot more diving. Ceilings are lower.
I don't think my power is mitigated.
It's a different game.
It is a little different, but Bracky and I would have great successes. Actually, we used to be the team, Bracky.
I know.
What happened?
We had to even things out and make it more fair.
We had to be divided.
Exactly.
I think at some point we should reunite. It'll feel so good. All right. Any other questions on here to get you guys excited?
Let me look.
Yeah. Oh, if you had to wager an amount of money that would make you uncomfortable, what bet would you more likely take? Spencer never makes a senior level team, or Fix makes another one?
I don't understand this question.
Yeah, you do.
How do you not understand
an amount of money that makes you uncomfortable.
So
never makes a team, or Fix never makes another one.
Nope.
I mean, I'd pick
won't?
Fix to make a team.
Pick him. I'm keeping my money.
You have to. You're the fantasy sports enthusiast. You have to put your money.
It's a hypothetical question, dude.
It's a hypothetical. You're not
it's
actually
not
doing
actually
it.
your money.
You have to. All right, fine. Forget the money. There's a gun to your head now. All right,
Dayton.
we raised the stakes.
Dayton, because Spencer has not wrestled a freestyle match in 4 years. That's why.
There we go.
Yeah,
the pressure of the firearm.
I would take Dayton as well.
Remember the other day when I had to explain this to you? Or who was it? Was it you that had to explain it to? Why the death thing is the important...
Yeah, it was about the last meal thing, yeah.
Last meal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're not getting on that because that pissed me off. That pissed me right off.
Oh my god.
Wait, what pissed you off?
It's CP's 7-course final meal.
That shit sucked.
It sucks bad. It sucks so bad.
After the show, I found out that Texas just got rid of the last meal because
jerks like him.
Exactly, because some guy who killed multiple people ordered 12 different things.
Yeah, that's Christian.
I did not order 12. I did not order 12.
With super specific orders for each of them. So
I wouldn't even
they were
ask
like,
for
you know
dessert.
what? You animals don't even deserve it anymore.
And asked for 6 things under each part of the food pyramid.
I had a little
disgust me.
I had a little surf and turf with the chicken.
You had pizza.
You had Golden Corral.
Exactly. Exactly. Golden Corral. You can get a buffet dinner at Golden Corral for $12.99. Not even including a
We
drink.
never took Sean Foss to Golden Corral, by the way.
Dang it! Now he's big. Now he's bigger than all of us. Hey, if we lined up by weight, where would Sean Fowl stand in the FRL order? If
Right
we had
now?
to guess. Right now.
He's got to be bigger than all three of us in Austin.
I think so too.
Fouls?
Yeah.
Oh. He's huge. He's home-sized.
Well, okay, so here's the question. It would go Nomad, me, Bracky, or Bracky me, who knows? Depends how much milk I've been drinking. And then is it Sean Willie or Willie Sean is the question. Keto Willie, lightest he's been in some time.
I'm 60 now.
160?
Yeah.
Oh, Fouls is bigger than that, isn't he? You think Fouls is bigger than 160? Fouls is bigger than all of us.
Great.
But like a healthy one.
Yeah, I'm sure he's loving life. We got to find out how much
We have
Sean
to.
weighs.
We have to do a thing with him at Golden Corral.
We have to.
Actually, we have to. Any buffet that he wants to go to.
Yeah,
his
his wood grill.
Let's not pigeonhole it to Golden Corral because Golden Corral's garbage.
Now,
It's not that bad.
listen.
It's not good.
You know how they are, Bracky.
I know.
You know how they are with food.
Bradkey, me, you, and Vinny went there one time.
I
and
know. It
we
was
talked
good.
about how horrible it was. No.
I
This
liked
is
it.
revisionist history. Vinny, you know how Vinny is. Vinny's Debbie Downer about everything. He was going through the buffet, grabbing hash browns out of the thing with his bare hands and double fist. And he was like, "This sucks." He's like,
But the way Vinny does it, he's like, "Oh, this is terrible," and then he eats 10 plates.
right, exactly, precisely.
So I think he actually loves it.
He actually loves it. So 2 of the 3 loved it. Okay, so obviously to answer that question, Dayton fix.
We used to do buffet Thursdays,
Thursday was great.
but half the time Willie wouldn't go, or like say he couldn't go for some reason. There used to be this terrible Chinese place on
Horrible.
Riverside. And every time we'd go, we'd get like one plate, and we'd be like, "Why do we come back here?" And we would come
Every
back
time,
every Thursday.
we went there. Except Vinny
I think
time.
they hypnotized you.
Except Vinny every time would go to the dessert stand and get flan. And
Yeah.
and then bitch about how horrible it was. Like, why do you do this every week?
I have the same question for all you guys.
Hey.
I know.
Hey.
This is a tweet I just saw. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but it is incredible. According to Mike Matten, father of the Matten wrestling family.
All Mattens.
All the Mattens. Muhammad McBride graduated high school at 14.
Wow. That's interesting.
What?
So is he a genius?
I would assume that's just
14?
impressive.
Why is he from Delta? Why is Mr. Metten?
I don't know.
No one knows anything about Muhammad.
Hey, CP, we need a tattoo update.
No updates yet.
A lot of people are asking about that.
I don't have one.
Jonathan Fletcher asked, any plans for the next Flow film to be on the Bathroom Bandit? I think we have to
want it to
catch
be.
them first.
Well, we have to catch him, and then we'll do a.
We don't want it to be a snuff film.
I'll put matters into my take matters into my own hands.
No.
I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's bad.
A snuff film? Do you know what a snuff film is, Christian?
No.
No, he just said he didn't when he.
Don't tell me. I bet it's bad.
I gotta tell you.
No.
I'm telling you right now. Kyle, do you know?
Yes.
No. Oh no. Don't
It's
say
a porn film in which somebody dies.
I wasn't thinking of it in the pornographic sense, just in the sense where someone dies.
That's the
I
definition of a snuff
know. But the point was the person dies, not the that part of it.
Just play the song. Just play it.
Play
And
this.
that's the news.
Play the song. Hope you're proud of yourselves. You know what? On episode 420, on Marijuana's birthday, you pull this crap.
Marijuana, not even a real term.
All right. I don't really have anything to say. We're going to be back tomorrow.
Are we back tomorrow?
We're back tomorrow.
All right.
Wednesday.
Let's get out of here.
Snuff film.
I can't believe he said that. Also,
That's you,
he's
Bandit.
like, oh,
That's
no,
you, Bandit.
but you didn't But it's like you didn't mean that part, as though there's not many other movies where people die in. Only like every movie there ever is.
It's like an actual, like live death.
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
it's
That's the point. That's the point.
You're
an actual murder.
sick. You are, man. I hope the company doesn't have access to your Googles. Goodness, how do you know this stuff? Willie?
No, because there was a Nick Cage film about it.
Oh boy.
Law and Order
Called
SVU.
8mm.
Law & Order SVU is how Bracky knows. That's a little more wholesome. Guys, just watch wrestling. Don't watch all this others. Don't pollute your mind with this poison. Just watch wrestling.
Nomad's apartment is filled with snuff film.
Cut it. It's over. Bye.
Dump it.